that. And so I was asked on our fully resourced mentoring program a question this week that I thought was really good. And the gentleman is part of our fully resourced mentorship program and is going through the free training. He said, Paul, what's the difference between the caring tone, the I really want to know tonality, and utter sincerity? What's the difference? Because utter sincerity and I really want to know and I care for you are all very similar. Yeah. There's almost no difference in that. So why are we saying that there's three tonalities, but they're almost the same? How can they be the same tonality? Well, they're the same tonality because tonality has very little to do with just the sound. If tonality was the sound, then okay, then it wouldn't make sense. But tonality isn't just the sound. It's the tonality with the language pattern. It's the placement of the tonality. So, I really want to know if the language pattern for I really want to know is in a time where I'm trying to build utter sincerity, it doesn't work. So what makes one tonality the other tonality is the context in which the tonality is being used. That's why scripting is so absolutely fundamentally important. Because if you have you ever seen somebody who's kind of faking it? I can think of some politicians where their timing was off and they used the wrong tonality, where they're reading a teleprompter, it's not their words, and they misjudge the tonality of the words. Have you ever seen that happen to somebody? It's awful, where they're saying something and because it's not coming from their heart, because some speechwriter wrote it, because they have no cells of recognition of what they're about to say, they're just reading the words. And to be honest with you, all they're doing is reading the words. They're not even putting the context of the words together. They're just trying to get through the PowerPoint. I'm sorry, they're just trying to get through the teleprompter. And they use the wrong tonality. And it's just like, ooh, it doesn't match, breaks rapport instantly. And so this is why making sure, if not only do you want to learn how to use these correctly, you also want to make sure that you don't blow it by using them incorrectly, if that makes sense. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead. I've been committed. I was talking to somebody today who's part of our results mastermind group, one of our members, and he said, I don't understand like what you're doing with this sales course. You got to help me understand this, because I can't understand why you're giving like so much away. You're giving what most people would sell. Like you're giving what most people would sell as a sales program. You're giving it. I don't understand this. Well, there's a different, I got a different model. I'm a different time in my life. So it doesn't make sense. But I really do. And I hope it comes across for you. Yes, look, hey, am I trying to sell something? Absolutely. I'm trying to sell the course. Absolutely. I'm trying to sell the mastermind. Absolutely. I'm trying to do that. And believe me, I think if you do that, you're going to be really well served. I think it's going to be fantastic for you. I think you're going to love it. But I know that most of the people, look, there's 3,000 people who enrolled in this, 3,000 people opted in. You see, there's been hundreds. I mean, we couldn't accommodate everybody. I mean, if everybody joined the mastermind groups, we'd have to quit because there's not enough hours in the day. So I'm doing this knowing that most people aren't going to join. So I'm not necessarily doing this for the money. This is a skill that if you can learn, it will feed you, it will feed your family for a lifetime if you learn this skill. And I'm just really passionate about helping people become free, free financially. A lot out, one second. A guy put this book in my hand. The guy put this book in my hand. When he put this book in my hand, it did not look like this. It was not held together with a binder. He didn't give me an old book. He gave me a new book. And aside from the book that he gave me, he took me through this book word by word, sentence by sentence, paragraph by paragraph, page by page, chapter by chapter, for 3 years. And I never gave him a dime. He did it for free. And so the model was set for me early on how do you grow and how do you serve and how do you do the right thing. And I just really believe that I've got to give back. And so part of this is giving back, and I'm giving back something that I love to do. So I hope that this is beneficial for you. I hope that you'll take this, whether you join the mastermind group or whether you buy the 16-hour course or not. I just really hope that you'll lean in on this. And I really hope that you'll take it to heart and just try it. Just try one of these strategies and you will be amazed. It's like you've got a secret key all of a sudden. Like you just like you almost can't believe that it worked that well. So Megan, why don't we go ahead and we'll jump in for Q&A, and you tell me where we're going and we'll jump in on that. And then for any of you that would like to be bold and brave enough and try a tonality or two, we're going to do that too. So we'll let you practice the tonality.
Alrighty, so if you've never used the raise your hand feature on Zoom before, I'm just going to do a really quick review of how to do that. So if you hover over your screen with your mouse or your keypad, you'll see the participant tab. And if you click on that, usually there's a little button that says raise hand. If there's not, there will be three like dots, a button with 3 dots. And sometimes if you click on that, there will be raise hand in there. If it's not in either of those places, then it will be in your reaction tab. So 3 options there. And so we already do have some people with questions, Paul. So I'm going to go ahead while everyone's kind of figuring it out. I'm going to go ahead and ask Nicole to unmute so she can ask her first question.
Hello.
Hello, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, I got 2 questions. The first one, I'm a member of the John Maxwell team, and they taught us, or as I understood the model, we were supposed to first give a free lunch and learn and then have a meeting with the person. So while I was doing my new speech with everything you taught us, I felt like it was better to do the intelligence gathering first with them so that my free lunch and learn will be exactly what they need. And so that we already have something figured out, but by the time that we have, so that's okay. That's not like breaking the model.
No, as a matter of fact, every single time that you're interacting with somebody, you should do intelligence gathering.
Great. Okay.
Every interaction. So let's say you meet with Jim and they want you to come in and do a free lunch and learn. You're going to do intelligence gathering. What's the problem? You're fine. And then you're going to go in and you're going to do it. And then after the lunch and learn, he says, let's talk tomorrow. Will you start tomorrow? You're going to go right into intelligence gathering. You're going to go right back to it. Now, this time, of course, you're not going to gather the same intelligence.
Right.
But there's been a gap between you and Jim have interacted. Hey, so what's changed? What's changed since the last time I talked to you? I really want to know.
Would it be wrong if in the same meeting I try to like close before the lunch and learn?
Of course not. As long as it wouldn't be breaking rapport, right? Hey, look, sometimes, Montez, I think you'll get this. I think others of you will get this. If you've been in sales before, you know this. Sometimes if you don't close somebody, you break rapport. Like, have you ever been dealing with the salesperson? You're just like, for the love of God, take my money, please. Will you just, can I just sign and be done? Can I please? I mean, come on, raise your hand if that's true for you. Have you ever had that happen? You're just like, please, Why are you making it so hard for me to give you my money? I just want to buy. I don't want to go through the questions. And so, if I'm reading that energy, I'm going to jump right to it. Let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Look, the system serves me, right? The model is meant to serve you. So I hope that helps, Nicole. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicole. Alrighty,
Cool.
Paul, next up, we're going to go to Shelly, who I believe is one of our Brain Revolution members. So I'm going to go ahead and
Shelley?
ask to unmute, please.
Hey,
I
Shelley.
am. I'm a founder on the Duel of the Brain Revelation.
Oh, welcome. Thank you.
So of everything that I have been learning between that and what you are bringing in on this, I feel like I just landed off of a catapult big time. And I am that person that said, please, why don't you just buy from me? Please, just come on, I've got to make a sale. And now I'm using Tonality and building that rapport, and it's so simplified.
Yeah.
So, it's like all these years of being in speech and sales and marketing and ministry and doing all this stuff, you have taught it in such a significant way that it's one of those things where it's like, it's so easy, you just miss it. And that's me. It was just so easy. I've just missed it. So I am coming on board thanks to Rick Ruperto that I connected with today.
Perfect. Right on. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say that and say, I'd love to just continue on. This has been good.
Wow. Thank you so much. Well, thank you. Rick is great. And he's a dream fighter, man. He is fighting for your dream. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you for trusting in us. You're going to love it. I promise you, you're in good hands. Thank you, Shelley. All right.
Awesome.
I always
Thanks,
want to say,
Shelly.
Megan, I stayed at a Holiday Inn, right? You ever see the commercial?
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much, Shelly. Alrighty, Paul,
Thank you,
next up we
Shelley.
have Russell. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Russell to unmute, please.
Hey, Russell. I think you're muted there, Russell, still.
I'm doing well. It's so good to be here. Always excited to catch up with you and your team.
Thank you.
What I'm thinking, what I'm looking at is this is intelligent gathering is where I really challenge at. How do you tell whenever you're ready to go from kind of the, just the little basic stuff into, hey, are you ready to spend some money? How can you tell when to go from there to, are you ready to spend?
Yeah. And so it's not ready. Are you ready to spend? I guess I get the spirit of it.
Yeah.
So the real question is how do I know when I go from least invasive to most invasive questions, right? How can I begin to ask some of those more invasive questions, like, when you think back of the past investments you've made in training, there's probably been some times where either you misread it or they delivered it wrong and you've missed the mark. Would you share some of the times that maybe it didn't work out, well, and why you think that happened, right? So that might be an example of an invasive question, right?
Okay.
I think the determining factor for that, Russell, is, are you on rapport? And remember, does the question I ask build certainty?
Yeah.
Because look, sometimes it's a great question, but it's timed wrong and it breaks certainty. Because somebody questions, is he not reading? I mean, is he not paying attention? I mean, I think in TV they call it jumping the shark, and it goes back to the TV show Happy Days. Remember when Fonzie, jumped the shark in Vegas, right? Because it was like the show was going to die, and there was nothing more they could do but have Fonzie jump over a shark. So that's where that kind of name came from. Is when something's like, when somebody's completely missing it, it's jumping the shark. Have you ever been in a conversation where somebody asks a question that's just like so far left field, you question their judgment, you question whether they were really paying attention, like, what? And so, I think how do you know? You've got to be really active listening. Part of it's going to be intuition, a heightened level of what I call situational awareness, right? Situational awareness. But the final decision is does this move this person to more or less certainty. And remember, the only reason why I'm going to ask a question is to identify a problem or an opportunity, right? And to build certainty. Outside of that, questions are pretty much useless, right? Because then you're talking too much. So my question should either uncover something I don't know about the problem, or it should establish rapport and certainty with you. And that's why, hey, having some scripted question makes sense. Because sometimes it's hard to come up with those questions on the fly. Wouldn't it be just think about it. Wouldn't it be better for you to have the framework of, let's say, 12 really well thought questions in advance, knowing like you may not know your customer, but you know what most of your customers' concerns are. You should know. If you're a pro, you should know what you should know what your competitors charge. You shouldn't be wondering what you're going to be charging for price. You should know what they've probably paid with. You should know your industry. So I'm assuming you know your industry. Okay. So if you know that, if you know that industry, wouldn't it be smart for you to have like 12 to 15 pre-thought, really well-worded questions? So that when you're talking, so if I'm talking to John, because John's on my screen right now, if I'm talking to John, because he's coming, I can really be focused on listening to John. I don't have to be trying to write down what I'm going to say next to John. I want John, when he looks at me, I want John seeing me looking at him going, right, got it. I want him to be like, wow, nobody's ever listened to me like that. I've just interviewed 6 coaches, and none of them came with pre-thought questions. None of them came with none of them honored my time by asking these kinds of questions. That builds rapport. I mean, you can sell the deal or lose the deal just in the question. So I think that's the thinking you want, Russell. I hope that helps. Okay, Megan.
Alrighty, Paul. Next up, we have Carrie. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Carrie to unmute, please.
Carrie, you're coming down here.
I am. I was actually supposed to be flying today. I have some friends in Delray, but due to the storm coming through, my plane was canceled. So I've never been so happy to have a canceled flight so I could be on this Q&A.
Oh, well, thank you. Wait, but you're coming to Casa Falace. Is it this week or next week?
The 8th. Good. Cannot wait for that.
Can't wait to have
I'm so excited. And now I made a note, have lots of questions for Paul to value his time.
Right
on. So my question is, I get very passionate about what I'm doing. So when I'm in the script and I'm doing the conversation, I can ebb and flow and do some things. But when it gets to declaration of certainty, sometimes my passion takes over and I think rapport can get broken. And how do you balance your passion, especially with that place with tonalities, so you don't lose it?
Yeah, great question, Carrie. And here's a kind of a rule of thumb: is you want to be 1 degree of energy above your prospect. So you don't want to be way up here if you're talking to somebody who's it's kind of like, I gave the example when in one of the lessons where I'm going to deflect Jim or Mary's objection. So I paint the 4 corners. So I don't tell them everything about what I do. I just give them enough. And then I make an offer, which we all know that first offer is sacrificial. It is purposed to get an objection. If I do everything right, I'm going to get an objection. Unless, Jim or Mary is just like, please take my money. And like, they want what you've got and that's it. They're done. they're in a hurry and they're going to give you the money. But in most cases, you can do everything right. And you really want the objection. And the purpose of this objection is for me to do two things. One is gauge certainty. Where are they on this kind of certainty level? And B, for me to be able to go deeper now, to earn the right to say more. And so the way I'm going to deflect that certainty is Jim or Mary is going to say, well, so I'm going to paint the four corners. I'm going to say, so, with the $500 deposit, you can get started. We can get you enrolled in the program tomorrow. Fair enough. And so I've just made my offer. Like, you ready to go? And Mary says, no, right now, I just don't think we have the time. The team's really busy, And so now she gives me the smoke screen for uncertainty, right? That's the objection. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know what, Mary, I completely understand. When I'm making these kinds of decisions, I take my calendar into account too. But let me ask you this. Does the idea make sense to you? Like, do you like the idea? Now, if Mary says, yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. And you're going to say, exactly, because it's a great idea. I'm going to go one step above. She says it's a good idea. I'm going to say, exactly, it's a great idea. If she says, well, yeah, I think it's a good idea. You say, great. I'm going to just go one degree above their energy, because you're right, Gary. If I'm way up here in my energy, have you ever talked to somebody who's just really excited and just, Kramer, right? They're from Seinfeld, right? You're talking to Kramer, everything is just like too much. It's like, oh my goodness, slow down. It breaks rapport. It's like they're drinking from a fire hydrant. Because what they're thinking to themselves is, I don't know if I want that kind of big energy. If we're going to be going, if this is going to be my coach for a year, I don't know if I want that kind of in my face energy that much, And so it's this calm confidence is what you're looking for, right? And it's 1 degree above their energy. And this is why also, Carrie, having really good scripted words mean things. And there's words that you can use that convey your passion. Passion is one of them. Hey, look, I'm really passionate about wanting to serve you and taking you through this. And I promise you, I guarantee you, if you'll make this investment, I'm going to be there every single step of the way. I see it as my purpose. Utter sincerity, absolute certainty, utter sincerity. I see it as my purpose. Okay? Right on. Thank you, Gary. And of course, you only say all of that if that's true, right? If it truly is your purpose, if it truly is your passion. That's a pretty cat, Leslie. Holy cow. That's a pretty cat. Okay.
All righty, Paul. Next up, we have John. So I'm going to go ahead and ask John to unmute, please.
Hey, John.
Good evening. Good evening, Paul. So fortuitously, right? So I get this call. I get a text message from a former real estate client of mine whom I've been working with. They're a CEO of a corporation. They're begging, they sent me a text that I have to do something. I need these people that need coached, right? They're coming to me. And so I responded back, got a specific time, did the meeting today, and I have all my scripts out. I mean, 6 pages on the table. And I being my history as an IBMer, I'm used to using scripts. These are slightly different. And I struggled with the transitions, but the one really thing I would say is, and I was taught this a lot, if what's more important, the questions or the answers? And if they're giving you answers during the course of the question and you can't repeat those back when it comes time to say, Sherry, based on everything you've told me today, you've not listened, right? And then they come back with a question later on about something you asked, and then you're like, oh, where did that go, right? So if you're going to ask the question, what I learned today in this new transition to new scripts is, and I didn't transition very well from point to point to point. Saying one thing, getting on track and being so focused on trying to say something new. And the only other thing that I had to say was, I've always being in business, many of us are business people, right? And we get sales calls, robocalls, all the time. I do.
Yeah.
The first time somebody says, you know, hey, John, how are you today? I'm like, they're gone. And my response is, why do you care? You know, so it's this taught script that they have no tonality with, and they've not earned that right really to ask the question yet and go there. Am I right in all this thinking? So it's like,
Yeah, you're spot on, John.
So what I learned before was ultimate courtesy. Always use please, thank you, and say their name in the course of the opening and the introduction, and that builds rapport and helps me earn the right to go further in the presentation, so to speak. So just a comment, but it was a fabulous day. I sold it. I'm sending a proposal.
Okay.
One of the interesting things about listening was that in the tone of listening, and when you're listening for tone, you know, all of a sudden she began to say the word we, like she emotionally had already partnered with me.
That's right.
And envisioning what it was going to be like. And so I really didn't have to come back to the scarcity, you know. I did ask that, you know, it's like, so, you know, what is this really going to be like, you know, if you don't fix this issue 6 months from now? I mean, are you really concerned about that? You know, and it just, it was like she couldn't wait to get the proposal in her hand, you know, and based on what you said, you know, I was like, listen, I'm going to send you an email with this proposal at 11 a.m. on Friday. I'll be sure you get it. Be looking for it at that time.
That's perfect. So good.
Exit it out.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. It was just cool. It was really cool, but
it works, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, one thing I would say, John, is because you're right. When you first get on the call with somebody, hey, Jim, this is Paul with Empowered Living. How's it going today? Using the questioning tonality. Hey, Jim, this is Paul. This is Paul with Empowered Living. How's it going today? Rather than the declarative statement. Hey, Jim, this is Paul with Empowered Living. If I say, hey, Jim, this is Paul with Empowered Living. How you doing today? And Jim knows sales call, bump. But if I say, hey, Jim, this is Paul with Empowered Living. How's it going today? He doesn't have a whole lot of time. He's trying to process like 3 questions, bang, 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 pretty quick. And he's hearing them not as he's hearing them as questions, not as declarative statements. And it buys you just enough time for him to say, in his mind, in a millisecond, he's thinking, I think I should know this person. They sound like they're familiar with me. Like, hey, Jim, you know, hey, Jim, this is Paul. Like, you know me, right? You know, it's Paul, right? At Empowered Living, right? Right? You know, right? And so it happens in a millisecond. And that's why I think you're spot on. If you use the dead flat tonality, declarative statement, you're right. Done. You know, why do you care? They didn't earn the right to ask. And I love the use of please, thank you in their names. I think, you know, I'm a big student of Carnegie, right? Dale Carnegie, where he taught, you know, that a person's name is the sweetest sound they ever hear, right? Hearing their own name, it makes a big difference. Okay, Megan.
Thank you so much, John. Alrighty, next up we have Channing. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Channing to unmute, please.
Hey, Channing.
Hey, Paul. Hey, everybody. Good to see you. Glad to be on here. I'm about to mow the yard, so I'm was off camera there, but I'm hopping on right here before the sun goes down. But I am in a not sales directly. I'm in a more sales operations role for a software company. All the proposals, I see all of them that come through. I see all the cancellations come through. And in particular, when I see the cancellations come through, I have a vested interest in wanting, and like that kind of irks me each time I see one. And a little various reasons, but one of the reasons, of course, is, you know, there's a change in primary. So the decision maker, whoever we talked to, maybe it was the recruiter, they left, and the owner of the company, well, I never approved that, or maybe that original decision maker left and someone else came aboard, they used something else in the past and they want to use that, or how is it basically, you basically have to start over and building that rapport from starts is without having to lose it? How do you bridge that when you have a primary that has gone left, you got someone new coming on board?
Yeah, I think you've got to immediately establish rapport, right? And you've got to, I think you've got to go in and say kind of to Jim or Mary, hey, look, this was the lay of the land, just because that was the nature of our relationship. I would never expect that to be the lay of the land with you. I truly approach all of my engagements with this idea of kind of like the hand glove metaphor. I see you and your business kind of as the hand, and my job as the glove is to mold to your hand. I would never expect you to mold to us. And so as we start this new relationship, I'd really love to understand like what's most important to you when you think of this software solution. Bump, and now I go in, right? And I think you got to do that right away. The problem is that I've seen where salespeople tend to almost get too arrogant and think that they don't have to. They take rapport for granted. And I mean, what happens then, right? You can't take rapport for granted. It doesn't matter that everybody in that company can like you. If that decision maker, if you don't go in and kiss the ring, you haven't kissed the ring. You got to go in and kiss the ring. They're in the authority position. You've got to go and make sure that you and them are aligned. And so, getting your team to really understand that, like, you can't wait a day. As soon as the second that Jim or Mary has left and there's a new Jim or Mary, you got to be there, right? Like immediately, 24, 48 hours in person, speaking to Jim and Mary, if at all possible. Yeah. Thank you, Channing. Appreciate you. All right, Megan.
All righty. Thank you, Channing, and thanks, Paul. Next up, we have Montez. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Montez to unmute, please.
Hey, Montez.
Hey, Paul. How you doing? We miss you, man.
Thank you, man.
All right. So I had a question about what you talked about in the second one, and kind of like what Channing said. I have a new person, new HR manager that came in. And I had a meeting with her when she first got there. She was probably in the seat about 2, maybe 3 weeks. And it had to be on Teams, Zoom, because of COVID. So, because they're not taking in-person meetings. She said, send me what you sent the last HR person, the proposal. I said, okay, I got it. I sent it to her. Now, I need to know, how long do I wait before I contact her again?
Yeah. So what should you have done?
That's a good question. Well, I talked to her about the pain point. Well, she didn't know the pain points.
No. So when she says, you send me some information, that's where you broke rapport.
Okay.
So she says, send me some information. You're going to say, fantastic. I'm going to have this information to you by Tuesday at 1 o'clock. It'll be in your email.
Okay.
But what I really want to do is, I don't want to just send you information. I want to really walk you through it. If I have this to you at Tuesday at 1 p.m., are you available at 2:30 on Tuesday? I would have tried to book. I wouldn't see you left without the second meeting scheduled. You agreed to it. You agreed to give them something with a specific time. So remember, whenever we're going to extend rapport to where we're going to have another interaction, this interaction gap, I call it. What I want to do is 2 things. One is I want to make a promise that I can keep. I'm going to send you this information Tuesday at 1 o'clock specifically. And I want a specific time that I'm going to meet with you or talk to you next, agree to on that call, because otherwise I'm going to chase you. Because I mean, this person's new. She's new into this position. She's got 30 other vendors to talk to. You know what I mean? And she's got fires she's got to put out and people that she's got to learn. And it's not that she's blowing you off. It's just that she's busy. And so I think, so what I think I would do now is I would use Federal Express. I mean, that's probably the quickest way to get back into rapport, is a handwritten note to her that says, dear Mary, I know you received my email dated with the information you requested. Really love to connect back with you, even if it's just for 10 minutes. I know you've got to be super busy, crazy, stepping into a new position. And I just want to solidify 2 or 3 of these points, bink, 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 right? With your business card. Federal Express, if it's, look, have you ever gotten a Federal Express and not opened it? No, you get it, right? If it's Federal Express, it means it's important, right? And so it elevates it. So, for $19 to get back in rapport with the HR director is probably worth it. That's what I would do. And then in the future, you make the promise, I'll send you the information, but I'm not going to I'm not going to just send you information without a commitment from you. I mean, what am I doing? I'm going to send you information for what? If I'm going to send you information, then we're going to talk about the information. Let's get that time set. My time, remember, it's part of this is posture. I would love to do business with you, but I don't need to do business with you. My time is important too. I appreciate the fact that you're stepping back into this. I appreciate that you're new to this and that you're busy, and I get all that. And I'm busy too. Now, those are the unspoken words. The tonality of it sounds like, hey, Mary, I'm going to send you that report, the information you requested. I'm going to send it to you Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Is that, if I send it to you Tuesday at 1 o'clock, would you have a chance to look at it? Great. And then, I don't want to just send it to you. I'd really like to walk you through it. I've got 3 o'clock open on Tuesday afternoon, or I've got, Friday morning at 10. Either one of those work. Okay. Hope that helps, Montez. Okay, Megan. Everybody keeps moving around on my screen. So go ahead, Megan. You're up.
Go ahead and ask Rhonda to unmute, please.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hi, Paul. Thanks for taking my question. So I am immature in this process of sales, and I think my biggest problem is I get really excited about what I'm doing and that someone's actually talking to me. And I do this in all things. So sales isn't just it. I get excited and I talk too fast, which I feel like I'm doing right now. And I have a very elevated excitement. And I think I scare people off with that. And I'm not sure how to manage it. And I was hoping you would have some advice. I know you will. You always do.
Well, thank you. Well, thanks for being part of the call and part of the program. Scripting your words is going to really help you. A script will slow you down. What scripting does is it brings discipline to structure, right? Because like you can have a structure and lack the discipline within the structure. A script will bring discipline to that structure. And then, if you let's just think about this. If you really think into this before that meeting, and you're thinking into what's the meeting? What do I want to convey in the meeting? What energy do I want to convey? And if I can write those questions out, and I can select words that are hard to say with overexcitement. It's kind of like I'll share a little bit. Megan knows I got a TikTok addiction. Okay, I've said it. I've got a TikTok addiction. I'm over it. I'm in a 12-step program for TikTok. But I saw this funny girl I follow on TikTok, and she said, can you say bubbles and be angry? It's really hard to say the word bubbles. And she has people trying to say the word. You can't just say, try to be really mean. Like even Mike Tyson couldn't make bubbles dangerous. You know what I mean? How do you say the word bubbles? And so the idea here is can you use words in your script that bring you down a notch? Can you use words that bring you down a notch? And the answer to the question is yes, you can, if you pre-think them. And so creating a language pattern that you can pre-write. And the more you work with it, the more familiar it will become. You know, this is just a habit. You know, all dialect and all accents are just habits. That's all they are. And habits change. I've got a friend, Keiji Oda from Japan. When he first came to the United States, he was a foreign student, exchange student. Remember when they, you know, and they sent him to like some rural town in Mississippi. And so I met him when I met him in Harlem when I was in the Guardian Angels. And here I meet this, you know, this guy, Keiji Oda from Japan, in Harlem, and he's got a Southern accent like he's from the backwoods of Mississippi. It was hysterical, but it's just a habit. And so, you know, your high-pitched excitement is just a habit. And I think with a little bit of discipline and structure, it'll really help you. So thanks. Hope that helped.
All righty, Paul. Next up, we have Leslie. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Leslie to unmute, please.
Hey, Leslie.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
Hey, when you were talking a few minutes ago about the opening using the questioning tonality, it triggered a question for me. Do you always use that tonality in the opening? My fear is that when a lot of my prospects are people I know, friends, family. So if I'm coming at them with this questioning, I'm afraid that might break rapport. They're going to be like, you know, their subconscious is like, what, you know, is there a different tone that could potentially be used with friends and family?
Sure, absolutely. And so, and right on you, Leslie, because that would break rapport, right? That would absolutely break rapport. So again, is what I'm about to say and how I say it build certainty or break certainty, right? And so if I go, you know, if I'm talking to somebody, you know, if I were to go to, you know, call over to Andy and say, hey, Andy, this is Paul, the Power of Living. I mean, he'd be like, what's wrong with you? Like now all of a sudden Andy would go, you know, go into concern for me, or, you know, did my friend, you know, lose his mind? What happened to him? And so good catch, Leslie, good question. If you've already have, you know, an established level of rapport, well, you know, winner, chicken dinner, you're you know, let's leverage that. And so there you would probably want to use, you know, a tonality of familiarity. But you don't want to go, especially if you're going to try to do business with this person and you have a friendship with them, you don't want to use the same pattern and cadence that you do when you always talk to them. They should know that there's something different about this conversation, not something different about you. So it can still be friendly and familiar, but just one notch down from what you would normally be, just one notch down. That's all. And they'll hear that, Leslie. They'll okay, this is, you know, she's got her game face on, right? She's, you know, there's a different Leslie on the call, right? And to be honest with you, they'll appreciate it. I think I shared, you know, we became friends with Charlie, you know, Charlie the waiter, you know, Charlie the waiter, we just became friends with him. And unfortunately, it ruined the waiter relationship. You know, it became too familiar. And, you know, I wasn't going to Capitol Grill to make friends. You know, it's great that I made a friend, but I lost the waiter, you know? So I hope that helps, Leslie. Thank you. Great question. Really appreciate that. Thanks. Okay, Megan, who's next?
Ready, Paul. Next up, we have Angela. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Angela to unmute, please.
Hey, Angela.
Hi, can you guys hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So, ditto what Montez said earlier, we miss you. So here's my question and/or dilemma. I serve on a school, elementary school, as a community member. So at the end of last school year, the principal sent me, I guess, their statistics, and I went through it over the summer, saw where I thought my product could help. And I want to offer them the student success report. Because of the pandemic, we never met in person. You know, I've only talked to her a couple of times, and it was on these you know, calls with the whole community. so my question is, can I build a report by email? And I think Montez kind of asked this, and I don't want to. So I was going to send her an email, and I'm not sure if I paint the four corners and if I include a sample report or not include a report. I don't know what to do, and it's kind of like, you know, one shot to set the tone.
You're so good. Thank you, Angela. Right on. You were so spot on, because you can blow in an email, can't you? You
Yeah.
can blow it in email. So absolutely, there's email tonality. As a matter of fact, there's a good possibility that we might be adding as a bonus to people who come into the workshop, texting tonalities and email tonality course.
wow.
That'll help you communicate that way. But here's what I want you to do, Angela, okay? And trust me, she's gonna, it's a woman. She's gonna love you. She's gonna love you. She's gonna love you. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna say, you know, hey, Mary, real quick. Hey, Mary, real quick, right? If I were to send you over a sample of the report that we've spoken about, I'm assuming have you spoken somewhat about this report? Does she have some, nothing? Okay. If I were to send you over some information for you to look at, would you have 10 minutes to give it a review and 10 minutes to have a follow-up phone call with me? Question mark. Thanks, Angela. Because what you're asking here is, hey, look, real quick, let me get right to it. Because I would imagine she's busy. Yeah, is she a busy person? Right? Hey, real quick, if I were to send you over something, a tool or a resource that I think is really going to help you, would you have 10 minutes to get a look at it, and another 10 minutes to meet with me sometime in the next 7 to 10 days? Thanks. And, you know, she's either going to respond with one of three things: no, yes, or here's when. No, I'm not going to have time. Yeah, of course, send it over. Or, you know what, I'm busy this week. Could you send it some other time? Right? She's going to give you some response, but that's how I would keep her in rapport. Hey, real quick, dear Mary, real quick. Maybe even just, hey, I mean, is your relationship strong enough that you could use the hey Mary, or would it be dear Mary? We'll get you unmuted here in a second. Hold on, we'll get you unmuted in a second here. Hold on, give us a second, Angela. Go ahead, Angela.
So I would address her as Jones, because we don't have a personal relationship yet.
Okay, so you've never spoken to her?
Yeah, I've spoken with her only during the meetings with the whole committee, where she would go over the numbers, how the students are doing, how the teachers are doing.
So you're on a Zoom meeting with her and 10 other people?
Her and about 7 other people, yes.
Okay, and you've interacted with her?
Yes.
What do you call her? Mary, or chairwoman, or what do you call her? Principal?
No, they all call her Dr. Jones, and I followed suit and called her Dr. Jones.
Okay, so
that's her name, yeah.
Very good. Okay, then Dr. Jones, real quick.
Okay.
Dr. Jones, real quick. Right, so this is informal. This is just, hey, I'm just putting this in front of you. Dr. Jones, real quick. Okay, that's what I would do.
Do I remind her of who I am?
Well, I'm assuming you're on a committee with her, no? I mean, is this committee not important enough that she wouldn't know who you are?
Well, I think we should meet more, but we meet about once a quarter. So maybe not remind her. She's emailed me, so I guess I should be in her contacts.
Okay, so here's what I would do is I would just say, you know, hey, Dr. Jones, real quick, to follow up from the last committee meeting, I wanted to send you, okay? That's what I would do.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Angela. All right. Yeah, and great question, right? I mean, this is something that's really important. You want to try to hold, and you can see how you can blow email. That's why, thank you, Angela, for like kind of going a little bit deeper. You know, I want to know, what's this relationship? How does she know me? What's the cells of recognition? Because there's a difference between hey, Mary, and hey, Dr. Jones, and you know, every one of those things mattered. So thanks for following it down the rabbit hole, Angela. Okay, we're ready.
Alrighty, Paul. Next up, we have David. So I'm going to go ahead and ask David to unmute, please.
Hey, David.
Hey, Paul. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. How are you, my friend?
I'm
Good to
doing
see you.
fantastic. I just want to thank you and Megan, you're doing an amazing job, choreography and all this stuff. What a job.
The amazing Megan.
So yeah, I'm a joined the Brain Revolution founding member. So
Oh,
thank you
thank
for putting all that stuff together.
Right on.
So my question is, I had my first true discovery call and landed into a second call. Yeah. So then he kind of went silent for a little bit. So what you just said there with the texting tonality really helped me a lot. So then he reached back out to me last week, and we did a second call on Friday.
Okay.
So I'm new to this. So he took me off guard right off the bat by saying, well, I'm not sure if I really need you, but I want to go ahead and do this second call, but I've already got a counselor I'm working with. I'm working with a nutritionist, and I have a peer group of people in my Tony Robbins Date with Destiny. So right at that point, I was like, I'm already defeated. Well, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And, being, my first, so I struggled at first. So I'm like, okay, so I spent the rest, by the end of the call, I do believe I got some rapport with him, and I got back in there by saying, I said, well, how do you really want to be seen? How do you want to be seen? He's having some issues with his family and stuff. How do you want your family to see you? How do you want to be seen by your peers, by your business partners, by your family and stuff? And I said, do you think the support group you have, do you think that they're going to get you there? And kind of like, if not, you know how to contact me. And I just kind of told him some of the stuff that I had gone through. I'd gone through similar stuff with him, and that's why I was put in contact with him, because they thought I had a skill set that could help him walk through some areas, because I did that. Okay. So at the end, I could tell doubt in his whole voice through the whole thing, that he really didn't feel like, even though he had those pieces in place, he had doubt that they were going to get him where he wanted to go.
That's why he was on with you.
Yes. So now it's been a week. And so, but he did say, he goes, well, thanks. I'll keep you in mind. So he didn't shut it off. So I feel like there's a rapport open there, but
yeah,
I guess my question is, should I just sit back and wait?
No, never. No. Yeah, let's go after him, right, David? So hey, first off, congratulations getting the second call, right? Well done. So here's a couple of things that you could do. When that happens, when somebody says, hey, look, I've already got this person, I got a coach, I've got a trainer, we got this. And I would say, and Jim, I understand and I hear all that, and yet we're still on a call together. And so there's, call it intuition, but I've been doing this a long time. And when someone, at your level who has a network or resources already available to them reaches out to me, they're only doing that because of one or two reasons. Either things are going really well and they're looking to see how they can maximize that, or the yogurt's hit the fan, man, and things aren't going right. And so I think in your gut that something's not right. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take a really quick, easy first step? I've got a quick start 90-day program. And why don't you and I just, obviously we've got a good rapport. Why don't we go ahead and just get you started, in a really simple 90-day program with me? Fair enough? Right? And so I think what you can do now, David, is I think you can email this person back or call. I prefer you call and say, hey, David, or I'm sorry. Hey, Jim, this is David with the Brain Revolution. We're with Dr. Amon's team or Joseph McClendon's team. How's it going? hey, the reason for the call is I wanted to follow back up with you after our last call. You know, when we last called, you said that you were going to be doing these couple of things. And I told you that I would drop back in with you and I would be out of integrity if I didn't reach back out to you. Right? So how's it going? Like, I really want to know. So how's it going? Where are you at? Where are you at? And now what I'd like you to do, David, is I'd like you to go in and I'd like you to have, even if it's a 3-call package that you sell them for $100, I don't care. At this point, all I want you to do is I want you to get the confidence to make an offer over the phone. I don't care. Look, I don't care what price it is, but you know, you've been where this I'm saying young man, you've been where this gentleman's at. You probably know at least one of his possible next steps. And you're probably resourced to help him. So if all of that's true, call him with a package in mind, something for $100, $199, something easy. That's what I would do. All right, David? Right on. Thank you, my friend. Okay.
All righty, Paul. Next up, we have Corey. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Corey to unmute, please.
Hey, Corey, how's it going, my friend?
Hello, Paul. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, bud. How's it going? Man, Corey, that's a library, bud. Let me just look at some of that. That's some good stuff back there. That is some good stuff. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. I noticed. Is that a Dr. Vincent Norman Peale?
Yes.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, that's an old one of his. Yeah, good deal. Okay. That's a classic.
Thanks. So first off, just wanted to echo what Angela and Montez said, that we do miss you. And I want to add to it that not only do we miss you, we are still mourning your loss.
Well, thank you, Corey. Right on. Thank you.
Quick question for you, Paul. You mentioned a few times about using a script and the importance of using a script for discipline and structure. Now, once a person has had an opportunity to memorize and internalize the script, should they still be using the script in front of them?
No. Great question, Corey. It's kind of like, you know, if you go and see the play Wicked or Hamilton, they've got it memorized, they've got it internalized, no more script. So once you've got it, you've got it. But until you've got it, you don't fly without a net. You know, you don't fly without a net. I can remember the great Bill Gove, Bill Gove trained everybody to speak. So who's everybody? Well, he trained Zig Ziglar, he trained Og Mandino, he trained Wayne Dyer, right? He trained everybody to speak. And he said, you know, if you're not prepared to speak from a memorized scripted talk, make sure that when you go on stage, you're wearing black. So when you die on stage, they can just bury you, because there will be a day where you will die on stage if you're not scripted. You know, so, and this is the guy that trained everybody, right? I mean, trained everybody who was, you know, he trained Les Brown. I mean, come on. He trained Les Brown, Og Mandino, Zig Ziglar, Wayne Dyer, Bob Proctor. He trained everybody who was anybody. Brian Tracy. He trained Brian Tracy. So right on. I hope that helps, Corey. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. And I appreciate your remarks. I miss being there, and I mourn my loss too.
All righty, Paul.
Thank you, Corey.
Next up, we have Michael. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Michael to unmute, please.
Hey, Michael. We'll get you there. Michael, you should have a message from Megan asking you to unmute. You might be able to.
All righty, we'll work on Michael. Until then, Paul, how about we go to Patricia, and then Michael, I'll message you and help you unmute.
Right on. Hey, Patricia.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Great, great. Thanks, Paul. Love this training. I'm in such need of sales. That's not my best friend yet. Okay. So I'm blessed to have a meeting with a regional manager for a bank and his regional person and his manager this coming Wednesday. So I have the discovery questions that I can use. And I tend to follow things by the book, but I'm also learning, as someone was saying, it's not always, I think you said it, not always the course. You have to listen and pivot when necessary. So I'm wondering, with the questions I ask, am I to, I do the questions and I put in that after the lunch and learn I'm going to do, I like to have 10 minutes to talk to you if everyone answers that one question, questionnaire thing. Is that it? I'm not making an offer. I'm a little not sure how to move. I've done this before. I don't know why I'm not sure. I guess because I'm nervous, but I'm not sure. I'm listening to what you're teaching as well. And I'm wondering, do I follow the pace of the discovery, the one questionnaire, and then having a 10-minute meeting? And if I have a 10-minute meeting, I should have, other than just a discovery, I should make an offer, or do I come back later and make the offer for a 90-day or a continuation of what I'm doing? That's where my thoughts are.
Okay.
All over the place.
No, they're not. You're fine. You're good. You're in good shape. Good form. Here's what you want to do, Patricia. You're going to go and you're going to have this first meeting. And this first meeting is basically, you want to find out, why am I here? Right. So, hey, thanks for meeting with me. When you think about, the growth of your team, the advancement of your team, what's one area that you'd really like to focus on? And, your goal here is to walk out of that room with a lunch and learn date scheduled and a meeting with them immediately following the lunch and learn to go over, how it went. That's your goal. The important part of this is I don't want you to ambush the sale either. I don't want you to oversell. I don't want you to try to, now look, if you're meeting with them and you're saying, hey, great to meet with you, trying to find out like why I'm here, how's it going? When you think about training, they say, look, hey, we're a mess. We need you like right now. Like what do you got? What can we buy that we can start tomorrow? Okay, then let's go, right? Let's go. But anything outside of that, let's not blow the deal that's in front of us. So what's in front of us right now is probably a really easy yes first step to get yourself in the door and to be able to wow them and to show them what you can do and to build rapport and to build trust with them. So let's close that deal. And the goal here is to walk out of there with an agreed date, time, topic, and an agreed meeting time that same day immediately following. And so it sounds like what you're going to do is you're going to say, when I'm done, I do the training complimentary. We do the training complimentary. And when I'm done, I want to sit down with you for about 10 or 15 minutes, assuming that everybody, in the room fills out the one question survey. And, it truly is a one question survey. It says something like, did the information and the presentation today serve you, and would it help you be more effective and more efficient with your job here at the bank? Yes or no? And if a majority of the people in the room answer yes, all I would ask for is for 10 or 15 minutes for us to talk about how I can serve you in a more formal way. Fair enough? That's the pitch. Fair enough? Great. Now, you're going to go in, you're going to kill it. You're going to be a pro, Patricia. You're going to nail the presentation, and then you're going to go in for this 10-minute meeting. And in this 10-minute meeting, you're going to say something like this. Wow, Jen, what a great team. I'm part of the John Maxwell team, as you know, and we've got coaches all over the world. And I can tell you right now, most of our coaches are working with teams that are trying to get their people to want to grow and change. Your people are on fire for it. I mean, this is a team that really wants to grow. And I think the very best thing for us to do is to lean in with that. I mean, you've got a team that wants to learn and wants to grow. I think a really simple, easy next step would be for us to do whatever that is, a mastermind group, a book study, a lunch and learn series, a disc report, a half-day workshop, some one-on-one coaching with maybe your high potentials. Fill in the blank. I hope that helps, Patricia. Right on. Congratulations on landing the opportunity. Okay, Megan, we got.
Paul, I think we figured out Michael, so I'm going to go ahead and ask him to unmute again.
Right on. Hey, Michael, we got it. Did we get it figured out on our end? Good. How are you, bud? Oh, we can't hear you. We got you unmuted for some reason, but maybe, let's see. See what you need, Michael, is you need you need the 12-year-old, right? Everybody needs a 12-year-old to come in and work the technology for them. I've got like what are you, Megan? A Gen Z or are you a Gen Z? Are you a millennial? You're a millennial. But you're right on the edge of Gen Z, right? No? Kiona's a Gen Z?
Yeah. I mean, I kind of am, but
see, kind of.
I mean, I'm not. I'm a millennial.
But you're a baby boomer. You're an old soul too. Okay, Michael, go ahead. Let's see if we got you. No, maybe is it your headset are plugged in? Is your headset plugged in? Maybe if you pull your headset out, maybe. Oh, no.
Michael, how about you message me your question, if that would work, and then I could read it out loud to Paul. And then until then, how about we go to Kenneth? So Kenneth, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, please.
Hey, Kenneth.
Hi, how are you?
Really good. How you doing, bud?
Good. I am a rookie when it comes to sales.
Right on.
And I'm taking the steps to be a first-time business owner. And I don't know really my approach, and it's kind of hard to explain. I'm a martial artist.
Are you Kung Fu?
Yeah, no, I'm in the Korean arts.
Taekwondo or Shikendo Kai or?
Yeah, Taekwondo, Tang Sudo, and Hapkido.
Oh, there you go. Beautiful.
Well, for the last 7.5 years, I taught at a school for special needs children and adults, but the school closed and the families reached out to me about continuing their journey, with their children, which, I'm very honored to do. I'm just starting to put things together and find the right location and all that. But as far as speaking to them, I'm fine, but new people, I'm really not sure what to say and how to say it and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm a martial artist, so
okay.
I've got a heart, and I know, it's so sad for me because I see, some of my greatest friends are martial artists. I don't know if you're familiar with a guy by the name of Bill Wallace.
Yes.
Okay. So
I've done seminars with him.
Oh, with Bill?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know Sean Kelly?
I know the name, but I don't know him at all.
Well, Bill Wallace is known as Bill Superfoot Wallace, right?
Right.
And so it saddens me to see artists like you, highly trained people, karate schools should be filled to the rafters today.
Right.
It should be the most popular sport in America, right? And it's not, and it's all because of sales. It's all because of sales. The sensei, right? The master, whoever's running the dojo, just doesn't. They don't have any sales skills, and it's usually their loved one, their partner, or their kids who are working the front desk, or some green belt who's trading out for training and mat time, and they're the sales team, right? They're answering the calls. And so I think, this program, Kenneth, is going to really help you if you'll come into the if you'll come into the boot camp, because we can help you get yourself a script. Here's what I want you to know is every single person you talk to is a potential student. If they're calling your school, they want to join your school, period, full stop. Okay. Karate schools are like car lots. Nobody goes there to buy something. Everybody who goes buys, right? People, the second largest investment people will make is a car. They spend almost zero time researching it. They walk onto the cart, they walk onto the lot, and they buy a car from the first person they talk to. And it's the same with karate schools. I mean, somebody who's looking at a karate school, unless they've been introduced to you, you know, as the master, or, you know, as the leader, they're going on the internet, they're looking at whoever's got the, you know, it's the internet, you know, Google is the new Yellow Pages. They're looking at whoever's got the easiest ad, right? The easiest ad, somebody to talk to. And then when they get them on the phone, you know, if that person can get them into the school, come on in and let's come to class tonight, right now, let's go, get you in. Let's just get you in a class. And sometimes that might be the easiest thing for you to do, is to forget selling them. That maybe for you, the sale is so uncomfortable in the beginning. Let's lower the action threshold. Let's not try to sell them anything. Let's just say, hey, look, come on in. Look, I can tell you all about the school and everything, but until you get some sweat on you, you won't understand it anyways. Come on down. And see, you smiled as I said that. You see that? Let's just get some sweat on you and come on down. Let's get a workout in. Come on down. Let me, you know, come on down. Let me throw you around a little bit. Let's have a good time. And I think, you know, it's been my experience, once somebody shows up and takes their shoes off and bows at the edge of the mat, they're buying a gi and signing up, man. They're in. And so maybe this is where you would use the strategy of a lower action threshold, where you're not trying to talk price or money or packages, and say, you know, so if they want to, you know, what's the price? We've got pricing that fits, you know, anybody's budget. You know, to be honest with you, we got that fits anybody's budget. What you really need to do is don't, you know, Jim, whether you buy from, whether you enroll in our school or any other school, don't make a decision about what dojo you're going to join based on price. Don't do that. Because if you sign up for the wrong one, what ends up happening is you'll quit and you'll never reconnect to this part of you that's alive right now. Come on down to the dojo, feel it, see it, really sweat a little bit. Come and feel this. And then if it feels right, I promise you, we'll find a program that fits your budget. Fair enough? Right? And, you know, all things being equal, you can find a program that fits just about anybody's budget, can't you? Sure you can. Okay. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate you, my friend. Okay.
All righty, Paul, looks like we have one more. So I'm going to go ahead and ask Jesse to unmute, please.
Okay. Hey, Jesse, how's it going, bud?
Good, Paul. How are you doing this evening?
Really well, thanks. That's some nice art, kids.
Yeah, this is my this is my COVID art gallery here, my friend. So
awesome.
If you look hard enough, you'll see some similar. Like I think I got a fish here and a little fish somewhere over here.
Yeah.
So
too, huh?
Yeah, if you look, you'll find pairs of a lot of things up here. So and I guess this is my son's. That's a hamburger. It's hard to tell. But anyway, first, thank you so much for what you're doing here. Very much appreciate it. Just in full transparency, I'm a drug dealer by education. I'm a pharmacist out of Pittsburgh, my friend. And I'm thinking of this in terms of patient counseling and how I sell better health. Right. And so I've been going through a learn, unlearn, relearn process here. And One of the areas that I'm sort of curious for your insight on is around scripting your questions. Is there any mix that you look to for your open-ended or closed-ended questions? And how do you want people thinking yes? Do you want them saying yes? You know, how does that process look from your perspective? Just
Yeah, well, thank you, Kenneth. You know, and Megan, let's keep him on muted because I'm going to ask him a couple of. I'm Kenneth. I'm sorry, it's called you Kenneth, Jesse. You know, Jesse, I'm not too concerned about getting the person to say yes, yes, yes. I understand the tactics of that, and I've studied NLP enough to know, I understand the science behind it. But what's more important to me than them saying the words yes is them making a micro agreement subconsciously, right? And so if I can ask them questions that target their pain and uncover their pain, I take the one internal scream from them saying, bingo, that's it. He understands. Oh my God, for the first time, you're the first person ever asked me that. You got it. He understands me. Now, they don't say those words, but they're screaming them in their head, right? I mean, because if you've ever been misunderstood and then you get understood, you scream that in your head. I'd much rather have questions that uncover and get them to do that than say yes along the road. So I wouldn't worry about open-ended or closed-ended. I would say, does this question uncover a problem and build certainty? Yes or no? Does that help, Jesse? Yeah, right on. Thank you, my friend. Okay, Megan. Thank you, Jesse. All right, Megan.
All right.
Hey, hold on. Hey, Jesse, I'm sorry. What part of the burg are you from? What part of Pittsburgh?
I live 100 miles north of Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah.
So I live near.
Yeah, but we claim you.
Yeah, that's I went to school at Pitt, and so I live near Meadville, Pennsylvania, if that means anything to you. So
yeah, Meadville is beautiful, isn't it? Yeah.
It's yep.
Meadville is beautiful. Okay, good deal. All right, go Steelers. Make sure. All right. Okay.
All righty, Paul. We have one more, Muriel. So Muriel, I am going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, please.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Muriel?
I'm doing well. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And thanks for offering this Q&A.
You're welcome.
I gone through sales and training sessions throughout my career. I was successful with, membership development, fund development. I've hit a roadblock with the past decade, hasn't been very good for me. But anyhow, now with pandemic, I'm here at home. I'm recovering from acute COVID. So everyone tells me I'm a walking miracle. However, the bills still have to get paid. So I joined a wine company. It's a winery in Napa Valley. And I thought, oh, this is it. This is it. Because most people I know
want to buy some wine.
Exactly. Okay. Wow. People I've contacted, low-hanging fruit, have rapport with. It has been really challenging. And I also need to go into a population who wants the wine and wants to purchase the quality wine.
What winery?
It's One Hope in Napa Valley. Ruth, I have memory problems from COVID. Rutherford, yes, and partners with Mondavi. Excuse me. I mean, I can't believe I just stumbled over that neurologically, but yes. And so I'm bewildered.
Yeah.
And I want to have a virtual event. I'm considering an outdoor event with individuals I know and individuals I would trust are vaccinated. But I can't move anybody. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple of ways that you know, let me ask you this. Are there restrictions on how you can sell it? Like, can you sell it to restaurants? I'm sorry, hold on. Megan's gonna get you unmuted real quick. Muriel, are you able to sell it to restaurants or? Oh, hold on, we're gonna get you unmuted. 1 second, Muriel.
You should be able to make that.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good question, and it was posed to me just a few days ago. And I was sitting in my favorite, at my favorite bar and lounge, and I said, I wonder if I could do this.
That's what I would.
So I need to ask if it's in the policy.
Yeah, well, there you go. What I think what you want to do is, you know, you're selling a premium product, and so you need to be able to have access to premium buyers, right? You know, there's nothing like, you know, trying to sell to the uneducated. You know, you want an educated buyer. That's the best prospect, right? Is somebody who's educated.
Yes.
And so you want to go where they are. And so I think what I would do is I would connect with restaurants, and maybe perhaps in your marketing, you can qualify those buyers through questioning. You know, you could ask about maybe 3 or 4 names. You know, are you familiar with per se the French Laundry? You know, or you know, name 3 or 4, you know, single Michelin star restaurants or more. And if somebody doesn't know what you're talking about, not your buyer, probably, right? So
right.
I think that's what I would do, Muriel. I think I would make sure that you've got a quality buyer, and because, you know, if you're having to educate them just on the concept, probably not your best use of time. Could you convert people? Absolutely, you can convert people. If they've got an interest in it, absolutely, you convert them with, but that might not be the best use of your time. Now, certainly, if you don't have another prospect to talk to, the prospect in front of you is the best one to talk to. But I'd like to see you be able to generate more leads. And so I would want to be going, and I think the sale that you want to make is selling the restaurants to do a tasting for you. So where you would say, I'm going to bring in, you know, 10 bottles of our cab or our Pinot Noir. And on Friday night, you're going to do, you know, a tasting, and I'm going to pour, and, you know, we're going to sell the wine by the case that night. And so
okay,
I think that's what I would do. All right.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Thank you, Muriel. Okay.
Alrighty, Paul, I think we have one more if you've got time.
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead. I don't want to leave it.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so Lisa.
We'll do one more because it's almost 9. We'll do one more. Okay.
Alrighty, Lisa, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to unmute, please.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Paul.
Hi.
So I met you at IMC one year and joined the Influencing from the Stage, or Influencing the Outcome, I think it's called. And I'm on the fence right now about the boot camp that you're offering, because I feel like I don't know like what my product is, or what I work a full-time IT job. I've done this for 15, 20 years. I'm great at it. I've sold millions of dollars every year annually. And it's easy, but it's not what I'm passionate about, because I really feel a lot more connected and drawn into helping people. I love the coaching. I love the speaking. I don't do that type of work with what I do now. And so every time I think about steering away from that, it's very scary to leave that.
Yeah.
And so, I guess my question is like, where it feels like this may not be what I'm ready for, because I just keep learning, but I'm not making any changes.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Lisa. So you've been able to sell hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars worth of the software or technology solution that you have, yeah?
Yeah, I'm President's Club a couple times, and it's a great career.
Are you paid by commission? I hope commission.
Yeah, commission. Mhm.
Good. It's the best way to be paid. So here's what I found is when people go from selling something other than themselves to then having to sell themselves, massive fear. Like you can sell cars, you can sell insurance, you can sell, software as a service, you can sell healthcare, but now all of a sudden I got to sell me. I'm the product. And now all of a sudden, it doesn't matter how good of a salesperson I am. Now all of a sudden I've lost faith in the product, lost faith in me. And so please, Lisa, do me a favor. Be on the call this Saturday, okay? Because this Saturday, I'm going to walk you through an exercise that I asked people to do in week number 1. And I'm going to guide you through some questions. The first 3 questions we're going to ask you is, what's your value? So when you think about what you are passionate about, coaching or training or speaking life into other people, what's your value? What value do you bring? The second thing I'm going to ask you is what do your prospects value? When you think of the person that you want to work with, the community of people that you want to practice with, like what do they value? What's the outcome that they're really looking for? And then the third question is what's the value in the transformation of working with you? Like okay, yes, I'm going to get a coach, or yes, I'm going to have clear goals, or yes, I'm going to have a purpose, but what's the value of that transformation because I did business with you? What's different about you, right? So you can see that if you spend some time answering those 3 questions, wow, a lot of clarity comes, right? And there's some other questions I'm going to guide you through. And I think at the end of that, I think you're going to have a lot more clarity around, being able to know what that next step is. Look, it's going to be scary. And I've trained more people to be speaker, teachers, trainers, coaches, and agents of change than anybody else in the world, living or dead, period. End of story, no doubt about it. I've either directly trained them or I created the system, 38,000 of them just through John Maxwell team, and here's what I know. I don't ever want somebody to leave a job and step into this. I want you to feather out, right? Because when you step into this new career, I don't want you facing any financial strife because I want you to be creative, right? And so I've got a formula that I've shared before where, I'd like to see you ideally have, 3 to 6 months worth of lifestyle money in the bank, depending on whether you've got, people who are dependent on you, whether, you're responsible to and for other human beings. If you're responsible for kids or adults and you're the breadwinner of the family, whatever that is, I want you to have 6 months of lifestyle in the bank, separate from your 401k, separate from your IRA. I want that money in the bank. The second is I want 1/3 of your income generated from this side hustle. So let's just say you make $3,000 a month. Okay. I want you generating $1,000 a month, every month for 6 months in a row from this side hustle. You miss a month, you go back. Because that tells me if you can do 6 months of 1/3 of what you make from your full-time job, you're losing money going to work, right? That tells me, okay, you got enough of a following. You have a pipeline. You've got a funnel now. And if you've got 6 months of lifestyle money, not just enough to kind of, get by to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I mean, lifestyle money. That tells me, okay, if you hit a bump, and you will, you'll be fine. You'll be able to stay creative. So think of those 2 conditions. And then what we would want to do is we'd want to work with you to build a model that allows you to make that transition. So I don't know if this particular course is really your next step in terms of, because it sounds like you've got the skill set. I think that skill set doesn't always translate. So that's one. But I do think that you might be a good candidate for like our results mastermind group, where we're working with people, you know, on a weekly basis and guiding them through a decision in their life. And we're walking them with the season. So if you'd like, you can send me an email and I'd be glad to get you information on that. Because I don't want you to enroll in something that, you know, you're not ready for. The other thing is, if you wanted to, you could get the sales mastery course, the $500 program, take that. And if you decided that you wanted to upgrade later, we'd let you upgrade and put that towards that. So, okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's really helpful. I feel like I'm an ISC and I feel like I have this like,
yeah,
I have this desire to work for someone else and like wow them and get that appreciation back, but doing it for myself just doesn't motivate me.
Yeah. It's scary too. I mean, it's just, you know, and you're right. Hey, some people work best with a team or, you know, they like, you know, for me, you know, some people do really well being a people pleaser. I'm a people pleaser. I mean, one of my greatest motivations to build the John Maxwell team was John Maxwell's smile. I wanted every IMC that man went to, I wanted to be better than the last one he won. I wanted Papa John to be proud of me. I'm a people pleaser. And so that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, look, it's a problem if you're going to be a doormat, right? Then it's a problem, but you found a good way to motivate you. And so now maybe how do we transition you into something that's more in alignment with really with your heart? So yeah, good. Thank you. Beautiful. All right, Megan, what do you think? That was great. Thank you so much, Lisa. Great way to, great question and great way to end the call. Hey, I just want to just thank all of you again for being part of this. I know I'm supposed to say this, but truth be told, Megan just renegotiated a deal with our hotel for the mastermind group. So we changed the dates 1 week back. So we had to change the date. So we're going to go 1 week back in January to like the 23rd-ish. But that opened up a couple of extra seats. So I know after this Saturday, probably by mid next week, all those slots will be filled. So if this is on your mind, if this is on your heart, and you definitely want to secure a chair, make sure you speak to somebody on our team. Because I have no doubt, the seats will be sold out. But if you want in, I want to make sure that your spot is secured. So thank you so much. Join me this Saturday, 8 o'clock. We're going to really help you think into the pre-sale, the thinking, how I think when I'm going and creating that offer, when I'm creating the strategy, when I'm creating the value proposition, what goes into that? And I've got a series of questions I'm going to ask you. You'll get a copy of that worksheet beforehand. Megan, is that going out tomorrow? I think that sheet or something. Yeah. So you'll get a sheet of the questions. And I promise you, if you'll answer the questions and then come to this call on Saturday, look, again, whether you enroll in this program or not, if you fill out that form and get on this Saturday call, killer, you're going to increase your sales. All right. So thank you all very much. Great having all of you. I really appreciate you. Hey, Rick Raperto, how are you, my friend? Hey, Rick, can we unmute Rick real quick? How'd you slip in here? How's it going?
I've been here the whole time, and wow, what a great day. Hello, Mr. Martinelli. Hello, everyone.
You have been, for those of you who don't know, Rick runs all of our sales. You have been talking to people nonstop. And so I just shared with everybody that we moved the hotel date and extended the room. But I know by when, what do you think? Wednesday or Thursday, we're done? Do you think this is out?
Yeah. I can tell you right now, my phone is blowing up the second I got my laptop on, emails. It's really exciting. This is going to be something that is going to be, wow, there's going to be huge transformation. People's banks accounts are going to be just filled, fulfillment. Yeah.
Well, good. Well, hey, thanks so much for working the phones and talking to people and helping people, work the logistics to get into this. I really appreciate you, Rick. And so right on. And great. Hey, you killed it. Look, you're fantastic at sales and a fantastic dream believer, but you're a fantastic teacher too. You did a great job on Saturday. So many people just loved your presentation. You did a great job. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Andy Hall. Thank you all for being part. Hey, Monica Madden. Thank you for being who you are in my life. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Be well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.